Rugby Championship Team of the Week for week number 3, folks. It's been a cracking Rugby Championship thus far. Both the games at the weekend mightily competitive. The Aussies getting it done at the death in their game, and the Boks pushing the All Blacks all the way to the 80th minute. We'll go through 15 of the best players that played at the weekend, plus some honorable mentions, some of their kind of key stats and key moments of the game. You guys can let us know your thoughts on who you would have if you were picking a team of the week. I'm kind of going to pick them as usual, at least in recent times, in the order that I jotted them down on paper. First guy I'm going to put in, he played a bit at 7 and a bit at number 8, but Ardie Savea in his 100th test looked like a guy who was one of the best rugby players in the world. The guy is an absolute freak. He finished with 12 from 13 tackles, which is one of the top tacklers of the week. Somehow managed to keep pace with Cheslin Colby when chasing a kick through, which is quite unbelievable. Won a couple of turnovers, including one which was a match-defining one towards the end of the game. It could have been a literal match winner if the All Blacks had managed to kind of hang on to the ball, but the Boks weren't done at that point. They still had one turnover to get, but certainly stopped a Boks attack in its tracks. He also had 10 runs for 14 meters, 3 defenders beaten on attack, 8 passes and offload, puts in a kick, doesn't concede any penalties, doesn't cough up any balls. The guy is a freak of a player. Just be happy that you get to watch him in his prime. Him and a bunch of other guys at the weekend, to be fair, but Ardie Savea is pretty special. Harry Wilson, for the Wallabies, maybe doesn't get the same hype as Ardie Savea, but geez, the guy is good. Captaining the Wallabies, the boldness, I don't know if it was his call or Joe Schmidt's call, but he's the guy on the field. Boldness, is that a word? To go for the win and not go for the draw at the end of that game as they were behind by 3 points. He keeps it going and the Wallabies are able to get the win, and the guy is just everywhere. He is so high work rate that he is that kind of inspirational follow me boys kind of leader. He finishes with 8 runs for 24 meters, which actually beats like Savea's like pure just carries per meter count. Obviously different games, playing the Argentinians in Townsville in the afternoon compared to playing the Boks in the wet at Eden Park. Different games, but nice numbers. If you can beat Ardie Savea just stat for stat, it's a nice one. 4 defenders beaten, including a big carry off the line out that they had 5 meters out from the Argentinian line, which like essentially led to the Nick White try. Dude even puts in a kick through, like which he then charges down the Argentinian guy trying to clear to put the Argentinians on the back foot. So he's got a skill set more than just the kind of simple carries and tackles of a number 8. He wins lineouts, a couple of them. He has 8 passes, 11 from 12 tackles, including a dominant one. Also wins a turnover. Also doesn't concede any penalties. Yeah, great knock from Harry Wilson up front. And another Aussie. Showing the Aussies some love. Len Ikitau continues to be one of the better midfielders in world rugby, man. The guy, again, playing for the Wallabies is probably not going to get the plaudits he might if he was playing for a more kind of fancied team. But geez, he's a good player. 3 try assists in that one. I just spat all over my desk as I said that. 3. That's how impressive it was. 3 try assists from Len Ikitau. 1 hand around a tackler to get it to Joseph-Aukuso Suaalii. That's probably the best one if you haven't seen the highlights. A second one to Suaalii as well. And then he plays halfback for the third one for the winner to Gus Bell. So special player Len Ikitau. 16 carries is massive. Also 16 passes. The guy's involvement rate is huge. 37 meters, beats 4 defenders. Also has a kick. Also has an offload. 5 from 6 tackles. Just the 1 turnover conceded to him, but no penalties. Yeah, he's just involved in a bit of everything. Always looking for work. Always around the fringes. Special player. One of the props, because I've not got any front rows on the board just yet. Nché. Like if there's one area that the Boks excelled in that game, because they had some areas that didn't fire, but the scrum fired. And I was all talking up the All Blacks props going into this game, but it was the Bok props that showed up. And Nché was involved in that scrum, which leads to the Malcolm Marx try, where they absolutely obliterated the All Blacks on the All Blacks feed, pushing the All Blacks back like they were a tier 2 side, Then Quokka Smith has a big carry, leads to a try for Malcolm Marx. It is quite unbelievable, and Ox was part of that. 60-plus minutes in the game, the guy is still on the field. He has 5 carries for 14 meters, which is also ultra not prop-like. Those are cracking numbers. He beats a couple of defenders. He has 7 from 8 tackles, including a dominant one, so good defensive shift. Concedes just the 1 penalty throughout the game. Has a pass. The only real thing that you would say is like, man, if you're a South African fan, you wish he'd scored that try. Rico gets under the ball as he is trying to put the thing down. That is the only thing, really, that you would have liked to change about Ox's effort. But man, no arguing with that guy at scrum time. He is quite incredible. Speaking of incredible, if you want a stat, you need to see one of the Argentinian boys. I've put him, he wears number 7, but they pretty much play him as a blindside flanker. The Argentinians like to do left, right on the flanks rather than open side, blindside. But Marcos Kremer, one of the defensive shifts ever. Like, carries 6 for 6 meters. That's nothing too flash. He has a couple of passes. He concedes 1 penalty. But 31 out of 32 tackles is bonkers. That is among the most you will ever see. Ever. 31 tackles. Guys barely get to 20. The next top tackler for this entire week with both games, all 4 teams, is 16 tackles. The fact that he gets to 31 out of 32 is La La Land crazy stuff. The engine on that guy to just keep tackling and tackling and tackling is phenomenal. One of the defensive shifts you'll ever see. Just pure work rate from Marcos Kremer. And then I need to get another AB on the board. I am going to chuck him on the right wing because he kind of shifted pretty early on. Will Jordan continues his try-scoring run. It's another one notched up for Will Jordan. He scores the try, the second All Blacks try from a nice line-out play. Satiti pops it to Jordan. He's able to blast past Malcolm Marx, which is not an easy thing to do. Scores the try. He gets 2 clean breaks, and the All Blacks only had 3 in the entire game, which highlights the weapon that is Will Jordan. 3 defenders beaten, a couple of passes, 3 from 4 tackles, including the tackle on Cheslin Kolbe at the end of the game when the Boks were scrambling, were trying to hunt for that draw. It's Kolbe from loose ball, and it's Will Jordan that tackles him. The All Blacks forwards are then able to blast over the ball, win the turnover, and kick the ball out. So, cracking defensive play from him. Just the 1 turnover conceded. So, yeah, Will Jordan, when you need that guy to get a try, he gets it. He has a couple of dominant tackles. Like 3 of his tackles were made. 2 of them were dominant. So, yeah, Will Jordan continues to be a real menace. Another Aussie midfielder, we're going to go with Joseph-Aukuso Suaalii. 2 tries from him. One of them was basically just run it straight. Len Ikitau will chuck you the ball and you will score a try. The second one is more of the this is why we pay the guy the big bucks kind of play. His second try where he's got a wee shimmy step, a wee dummy. Yeah, hard man to break down. He's a big unit of a guy as well. He's kind of tall and lanky. And, yeah, not an easy guy to stop. But 2 tries from Suaalii, 8 runs, 32 meters, 4 defenders beaten from him. So he's providing that attacking punch that you want from the Wallabies. He's finishing tries, which is exactly why you pay him the money. As I said, 4 from 4 tackles, wins a turnover. So defensively, maybe a bit more solid because it's still an area of his game that you feel like is coming along. The more rugby he plays, 4 passes and an offload. No turnover conceded. Does concede the 1 penalty, but he's only getting better, which is a kind of, I guess, concerning thing for us ahead of the Bledisloe series, but we'll wait for rounds 5 and 6. They're not just here yet. Number 9, I'm going to go with Cobus Reinach. He looked to improve the game when he came on. Russie kind of came to the defense of Grant Williams, the starting number 9 for the Boks, saying that the ball he was getting at the back of those rucks was not clean. But certainly when Reinach came on, the Boks just looked more fluid in attack, and it's no surprise that he's one of the Boks try scorers. That little kind of move, he went between a couple of the All Blacks locks. He showed that little bit of gas that he's still got. He's getting on Cobus Reinach, but he's still quick. Gets that try. 4 runs, 8 meters, beats 2 defenders. Like, not a bad injection into the game. Didn't kick that much, only 3 kicks from him. Whereas the Boks had been doing a lot more kicking from Grant Williams' boot earlier on in the game. 32 passes, so high work rate, keeping the ball moving. They had a fair bit of possession in that second half of the Boks. 2 from 2 tackles, Doesn't concede any penalties. Does have a couple of turnovers conceded, but by no means perfect. But yeah, you kind of got to wonder how things might have gone for the Boks if they'd been able to get cleaner ball early on. But something to think about ahead of Wellington. Another front rower, I'm going to go with Samisoni Taukei'aho, brought into the game earlier than expected for the ABs with the concussion to Cody Taylor. And he did all right to Taukei'aho. Like, neither lineout was exactly perfect in this game, the Boks or the All Blacks. I think the All Blacks finished at 80%, which you'd like to be a bit higher, but Taukei'aho's carries proved, he's a difficult guy to bring down. He can get low to the ground, and he tends to get over the advantage line. 11 carries, 14 meters, 4 defenders beaten. Those are good numbers for a hooker. He's got a pass in there, and also defensively solid. 10 from 11 tackles, wins a couple of turnovers, doesn't concede penalties. The lineout largely goes all right. So, yeah, Samisoni Taukei'aho coming on earlier than expected, getting the All Blacks forward. Another Argentinian, I'm going to chuck Mateo Carreras here. I probably snubbed him in the previous Team of the Week in that second round where they beat the All Blacks. Both the Argentinian wingers looked good in that game. They both look good in this game as well. He finishes with a try once again, and again his ball and hand numbers are quite incredible. 11 carries, 76 meters. Get this guy the ball, Argentina, and he will give you good things. A couple of defenders beaten, a couple of passes and offload. Does have a penalty conceded, which gets him yellow carded. Often you don't put yellow carded guys on the board. It's a team yellow card. They'd been conceding so many offsides, so he's just the kind of unfortunate guy that cops it. But yeah, his attacking numbers, you still got to have him in the side. And rounding out the back three, I chucked in D-Mac into here. Again, into the game earlier than expected and asked to catch some high balls. Largely did pretty well to D-Mac. He's not the biggest guy, but he looked pretty good. He takes over the goal-kicking duties as well. A penalty, 2 conversions, so 7 points from D-Mac. And, he looked fairly dangerous when he had the ball in hand. 5 runs, 13 meters, beats 3 defenders. So not called upon to do a heck of a lot of attacking, but when he did it, he looked solid. 3 from 4 tackles. He does miss one on Kwaka Smith from that big scrum. But D-Mac would not have expected to be in a defending position when it was an All Blacks feed. He would have expected to be booting clear, potentially. Next minute, he's got Kwaka Smith charging at him. He slowed him down enough for the teammates to get on him, but he still missed that tackle, but we won't hold that against him. But, defensively solid from him towards the end, where he shoots out of the line to disrupt, I think it's Diaka, trying to get it to Pollard, was it? And it's kind of scrambled back to Colby, which allows Will Jordan to make that tackle. So D-Mac putting the defensive play on helps shut down the South Africans towards the end of the game. He finishes with a couple of passes, 3 kicks from hand. So yeah, D-Mac solid at the back for the ABs. Another one of the Aussie guys, I've chucked in Tom Hooper. Another high work rate effort from him in the second row this time, not the back row. 10 carries, that's busy, 13 meters, a defender beaten. So he's getting over a meter a carry, which is what you want from your locks if they can. 6 passes, which is not bad involvements. And he's also the first equal for the Aussie lineout takes with 4. 13 tackles attempted, 10 made. He'd like that to be a little bit higher, but it's still pretty busy. He does win a turnover. He does have a dominant tackle. Couple of turnovers conceded, but no penalties. But he continues to just be kind of like Harry Wilson and some of the other guys, that high work rate fella. Number 10 was tough. I ended up going with Santiago Carreras. Certainly had a better first half than second from an Argentinian perspective, but he sets up one of the tries. Nice pop ball from the Argentinians to get it to Mateo Carreras for that try in the corner. That was exquisite back play, and he's involved in that for sure. He's got a conversion and 3 penalties, so he's also getting his team, getting the scoreboard ticking over, as the Argentinians are not afraid to go for threes and try to win test matches that way. Got them the job done against the ABs. 11 runs, 56 meters, 3 defenders beaten. The guy is an attacking threat. He can play in the wings fullback for a reason, because he is that kind of attack-minded player. 17 passes, 6 kicks, 3 from 4 tackles. He did miss one on Suaalii, which is a bit of a rough one, but Suaalii is a tough guy to bring down, which did lead to a try. 3 turnovers conceded, so not perfect. I think he dropped one of the high balls, which got the Aussies on the front foot as well, but still pretty solid from him. Get to some honorable mentions in a bit. Tupou Vaa'i, I also put here in the number 5 jersey. Again, not a perfect outing from him, but the guy looked, I feel, a bit better in the second row than the back row. They've cancelled the back row experiment for now. Anyway, 4 carries, 4 meters, beats 2 defenders, which is Again, very kind of lock-like. 12 passes, so he's getting heaps of involvements in terms of ball in hand. And 7 lineouts won, which is our top lineout operator in the game. He's credited with a couple of turnovers, one certainly disruptive on Bok lineout ball. So that's all the good stuff. He does concede a couple of penalties, which is not ideal. He does miss a tackle on Reinach, which leads to a try. Reinach just picks the gap between the locks. And like his lineout ball pass to Christie, which went well short, put the All Blacks under all kinds of pressure as well. So certainly not perfect, but enough positives to chuck him in the team of the week. And then last spot, I've chucked the big Argentinian tight head, Joseph-Aukuso on the board. Like stats-wise, he's not that flash. 2 runs for a meter. He gets flogged by Taniela Tupou, no arms, which does lead to Argentina getting 3 points, so credit to him for that. 6 from 7 tackles, defensively solid, wins a turnover, just the 1 penalty conceded. But you got to remember that the Argentinians scored a couple of first half tries directly from scrum, and particularly the second scrum looked really, really solid. The first one was under a bit of pressure, but the backs still did the job. But you got to get that platform, the backs, that starts from the forwards. So, yeah, got to give some credit to Joseph-Aukuso for that one. But that is the team of the week, 15 fellas who played pretty well. Some honourable mentions. Got to give credit to Gus Bell as well, coming off the bench and doing a good job for the Wallabies, getting himself a try. Wilco Lowe as well, part of that big scrum which demolished the All Blacks pack. Rubiolo for the Pumas made a heap of tackles in their second row. A heap of good loose forwards as well. Fraser McCright, Juan Martin Gonzalez, Simon Parker. Feel bad not to have Simon Parker here because he had a bit of a blinder for the ABs as well, largely. Peter Steff was involved in some good stuff and some bad stuff for the box as well. Helped drive Malcolm Marks over for a try, which was pleasing. The midfield for the Pumas as well. Chocobates and Sinti still looked electric. Feinberg and Ngomazulu also looked sharp when he came on for the box. Quintu Paia looked great for the ABs, getting a try. James O'Connor, likewise, a bit of a cameo from him to see the game out or rescue it for the Wallabies. Bowden Barrett had some magic moments, like 50-22 was magic. Cross kick to Narawa was magic. Kick down Pollard's throat, which then Pollard 50-22 was not magic, but yeah, Bodie could have been in some people's team of the week. Rico had a great try saver, but didn't see that much ball. Narawa scored a try, but went off within like 5 minutes. Dalgee scored a nice try. Andrew Callaway had a heap of run meters at the back. But yeah, that's the team of the week. You guys let us know your thoughts on who you would have in and out. Subscribe to the channel if you want some more rugby stats and action and reviews and all that jazz. Love having you guys here. Cheers, folks, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.